think when we're in a relationship with a person and you're in the bedroom, I think a willingness to be there and that they look and they think, oh, they're excited to be here and be with me, and the passion. I think that is what we're the only ones that see these, imperfections that we all have.
Yeah. You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. Welcome to my conversation with volleyball legend Gabby Reece. On today's episode, we get into some really fascinating stuff, from defining what masculinity means in her household to why young people aren't having a lot of sex. And of course, the juiciest part, she helps me answer a ton of listener questions. This is a good one. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please rate and review Sex with Emily wherever you listen to the show. It helps get the show out to more people, and it just takes a few seconds. You can do it right now. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X, and Facebook. All of it is at Sex with Emily. All right, everyone, enjoy this episode. Female athletes are new role models, and for good reasons. Gabby Reece is a former pro volleyball player, a model, a mother to 3 daughters, an entrepreneur who owns Laird Superfoods, and podcast host of The Gabby Reece Show, and so much more. You have a really successful business together, Laird Superfoods, and 3 kids. Like, how do you guys work? How do you make work? I tried to work with someone. It didn't go well, a partner. How did you do it? It
is tricky. I think
It's hard.
This is where our difference is good. So our values are the same. And our differences show up better because it's like, okay, that's you. Oh, that's not okay. Gabby's going to handle that.
Each other so well.
Yeah, I'm. There's things. I'll give you an example. On the way here, before I came here, I had a meeting, and Laird and I, we went in separate cars, and they sent him the email. I always schedule and do all the thing, and he's like, "Well, do you know about that?" I go, "Oh, that email didn't come to me," and I don't have. And the way he was coming at me, I was like, "Yeah, okay." It was kind of rude, and I go, "Oh, that has nothing to do with me." And I just went like this. And he was like, yes, it does. And I was like, yeah, no, it doesn't. And so when we were going, he goes, you just seem really calm and we had to leave. And I go, yeah, but you were frustrated because you got an email and that frustrates you. And
you should have gotten the email and he should
have. It's just, that's not his strength.
Okay.
Details. And like, they were asking, what do you want to eat? And I was like, that's a whole hour away. By the time we get there, they're going to order and it's going to take 30 minutes.
Right.
But the way my brain works and his brain. So he goes, you seem like la-di-da. I was like, because I've learned being amped about things when you don't have to be doesn't help.
This was a small detail. Like they would get you felt. Right.
So it's us knowing who is doing what and having systems. There's a lot of trust, boundaries around the conversation.
Yeah. Do you cut it and say like, we can't talk at dinner? We won't be
talking? I just think it's become intuitive because when it just bleeds over into everything all the time.
Yeah.
I used to also make the mistake of bringing up, and I think women do this, anything around hard things like, oh, the kids did this right before you're going to have sex because you're alone. It's like, don't do it. Wait till after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then they're just sort of, they're putty, they're cool. They're like, yeah, great. But I've also learned not to be like, oh, and by the way, we've got that thing tomorrow at 3.
Right, fill out the thing that you want for lunch. Okay,
and he's like, what? Right. So I've also learned to control because I'm like, oh, we're alone. So, I have this on my mind,
Exactly. I got you to myself.
Yeah. So I've learned like, oh, pin it for later.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Listen, to anyone who's in a relationship that they want to be in, it's not that make it as easy as you can. Make your life as easy as you can. That's what I always say, like anything that I can do to make it easy for myself and for the people in my life, I will. Don't make it harder.
Like how so? They just don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, and also like, for example, if I see something that I know is really going to piss me off or irritate me, I'm not running full speed towards it. Like a situation, a circumstance, I'm like, oh, yeah. Do I need to? Do I have to? Why do I need to put my teeth in that? That's going to just irritate me. So I think it's learning, how do I make this as easy, even like not repurposing, repeating like some bullshit thing that happened to you before. Like somebody did something to you and then a friend calls you and you go, oh, and guess what? You know what happened? Da, da, da. Why am I reliving this thing that already irritated me? How do I think about it? Be really clear about where it plays. Do I need to confront them? Do I not? Am I not going to? Am I? Do they need to apologize? Do I need to apologize? Whatever it is. And then move on. So I think also finding these ways to make it as simple as possible that's really, I think, helpful. But what I want to say to someone is, if you have a partner and you think you want to be with them, appreciate them. because it's so easy to let all the details of life make it that you don't appreciate them, and the people close to you. So if you can be reminded, I take a lot of distance from Laird, and I'm reminded about like, this is a person I really appreciate and I value and I respect. And I do that on a regular basis. And so do I know he's got really badass intentions? He does. So he's going to get a lot of passes from me because he has some little temper tantrum because he doesn't like emails. It's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know what you're reminded of in saying that? Do you know that saying, when something's upsetting you or you're about to get you up in a tizzy, you say something like, is this going to matter in 1 week, 1 year, 10 years?
Yeah.
Or what's the impact of like 1 hour, 1 week, 1 year? And then you think about it like, oh, it's really, if I let this go, it's really not going to impact my life. If you're like, oh, it's really going to be bad in an hour, and then you're like, that's how you can kind of measure, does this thing matter?
Yeah. Am I going to really care about this?
Yeah. Like, what is the impact of this silly thing? Because I find myself doing like, oh, this email wasn't right, or why do, and like, what does it matter? Like, does it really matter? Is it a big deal? It's like choosing your battles, like letting shit go that really isn't a big deal. Sounds like you guys are so rational with this stuff. Or maybe you're the rational one.
I am the rational one.
I feel that about you.
I'm glad you see me.
I know. I do.
But he's the heart. That's the thing.
I know.
He's the heart.
Yeah. That's good. We need it all.
We need it all.
So you've been talking about your directness in the bedroom, for example, but in the bedroom and such. So it folds into, I'm thinking about defining the masculine and the feminine, which things have changed so much over the years, but it is a very buzzy topic right now. So what do you think about that? How would you define the masculine and the feminine and how it works? And
I think all of us house both. And so it's actually, I think, building a good relationship with both sides. And that doesn't mean, I would like to say, if you're a female, that you have to love to cook. No. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about, femininity. Okay. It's just the essence of, there's sort of a nurturing and a recovering element. Someone said to me, sometimes men are the sun and women are the moon, where it's like everyone comes in and rests and then they go out and they go again. So if it's a family and friends or lover, whatever. So develop whatever version of that. It doesn't have to be my version, within yourself. So you have a relationship with both. And then decide as a couple what works when who picks what. But my understanding is also that once you sort of establish, you don't get to flip and flop. So for example, in my house, I'll use my house. I have taken on the feminine role. Now, I do a lot of masculine things within that, but in my nature of how I dress Laird and our roles, and he's taken on a very masculine role. Okay, if we get into a disagreement, I don't turn to the masculine because it's sort of like a change of laws. Now, if we go in the evolution of our relationship and something flips, that's okay too. But just within the dynamic. So I even though I communicate probably pretty directly, it's not that emotional, it's still not aggressive usually. So what I'd say to people is get a relationship with both elements, because you need it all to live life. And then decide what feels good for you as a couple. I can't tell you. I just know that I sort of practice so much kind of masculine energy in my day to day that I personally enjoy the kind of, Laird calls me lover, and like, I like it. I feel protected. It doesn't mean I don't have my two legs.
Yes.
I just enjoyed that expression.
Yeah. No, it's a balance too. I feel like I'm in my masculine a lot.
Yeah.
Running a business, running the home, all the things, and being the boss, and driving the career. But that's was part of me for play, because I know that the feminine is about creativity and exploration and play. And I'm never going to be one that cooks or cleans or any of that stuff. I mean, I try to do the best I can. But for me, it's more about like a letting go, being in nature. Mm-hmm. And that's the
Well,
things
we've made
that
a mistake in the definition. Yeah. So let's start there. Okay. Feminine isn't weak. Masculine isn't the overseer. So within that, I never mean that. I never mean that for either one. I actually think feminine's the most powerful. Right. So somehow we have gotten the definition weird. And I personally have always thought feminine energy is the most powerful.
It is. It's the life force too. It's creativity. Yeah. It's where you birth everything. Yeah. Creativity or a baby. and it is the energy, and then the masculine is the container. So especially when it comes to the sexuality, it is the container for which the feminine can run free and do her thing. It's funny. I was at this someone's house the other day, this really beautiful home, and they had this clock that it was like all these beautiful birds were singing all these things, but then there was like this clock that went off every hour. And at first it was like ding. It was really kind of annoying. I was like, what is that? I don't need to know that it's 1 o'clock and then 2 o'clock. And then I was able to like rest it and go, oh, like that's the masculine structure. And I was like, oh, that's okay. Like clear example to me of like the structure in my frolicking on the beach and doing these things with my friends. It was like a way of saying like, that was like the nod to the structure when the feminine can run free, but you got to be with people who make you feel safe, who actually are in the masculine.
Well, and that's it. Make a choice that is a good choice for your life. And then within that, can you let it go a little bit? But be wise in your choices and be strategic and be thoughtful. And also, if we're afraid, because love is scary and relationships are scary, if we're afraid and we're operating from that system, it doesn't matter what we have going on. It's going to be tough because we're scared. So I think it's also making peace. And that's something I did within my marriage. I didn't come into it with that. And that's why we almost broke up.
Young too.
Yeah. Of like, oh, this is scary. I'm scared. I want to self-protect. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is do that. And you realize if you're really going to kind of try, there's a part of vulnerability that I certainly don't love. But it almost feels essential that both people are in for that risk. And that's why it's so great.
Yeah, it is great. And the vulnerability is a key part. I think where people suffer in relationships so much when they're with someone and like, oh, they're not emotionally available or they're not evolved. They don't tell me what they're thinking or feeling. It's because we don't have experience being vulnerable. But I love your story of like, I wasn't there. Like until you had to be like, I want to be with this man, but I can't be vulnerable. But the fact that you were able to come back to the relationship and learn it and grow is such a beautiful example of like, no one's taught to be vulnerable. In fact, how we grew up, no one was like, cry, show your feelings. It takes 90 seconds to run through an emotion. Like they were like, shut up, don't cry, do it all on your own. Like, I don't know, that's how I was, right?
Well, and it's all risk. Loving anyone is all risk. So do you want to risk it or not? And there's a great book by a woman named Kristen Ulmer. She wrote a book called The Art of Fear. And in the book, the guy was talking about a kid who was going to a roller coaster, and it's a scary roller coaster. And the kid goes, oh, I'm scared. And rather than say to the kid, hey, it's okay, they wouldn't let people ride it if it wasn't safe and blah, blah, blah. He goes, yeah, it's scary. And then he said, the question is, are you in the mood to be scared? And so I think with love, it's like, the question is, do you think this is the right person that you are in the mood, that you're willing to be vulnerable with? And that might be it, because it is scary.
It is scary. And it's also, is it the right person? That's always a thing too, I guess. But there's also ways, I think you'll know it's someone that you feel safe with.
Or at least to try. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we don't know what happens.
We try, it doesn't work out. Oh my God, it's exhausting.
But it's cool, we try.
We got to try. That's what it's here, to love and to be vulnerable.
Totally.
I'm really good with my friends doing that. It's harder in relationships sometimes. Okay.
Well, you might know too much, so that's the problem.
I know. I do know too much.
You've seen it all, and you're like, oh.
I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've studied it all. I'm like, I know our issues before they even happen.
Yeah, well.
I want to talk to you about the athlete, being an athlete. I'm curious how you would say being an athlete, like how that enhances a person's sex life. And I want to know also about Laird Superfoods. Any help with our sex drive?
Well, I mean, you've got caffeine, so hello.
Right.
No. So I think being athletic, I mean, it's interesting. When I was competing and training a ton, sometimes I was a little more tired. And that was actually even harder. I was like, oh, one more physical thing to do. So you'd be surprised. It does boost your testosterone, even if you're a female, but it can be also this weird blend of like, you're also more tired. I think movement in general and just overall kind of harmony with, mind, body, and spirit. I think it probably gives you more life force or chi, which probably boosts your libido, which is helpful. And as you get older, I'm always a really big advocate, and we talked about it earlier, about getting your blood work, getting your hormones checked, making sure, because sometimes it isn't about muscling through it and gritting through it. People shouldn't have to do that. So I say also that you want to have if it works for you as a couple, sort of your version of a sex life, whatever that looks like for you as a couple. But you shouldn't have to muscle through it. So, maybe it's important.
It is, right? Just being healthy overall. If you exercise, you eat the foods that make you feel good, you're going to have a stronger sex.
Yes. And I love that. And I was joking about Laird Superfood, but it does have healthy fats, and we have caffeine, and we don't use natural. We don't even use natural, never mind artificial flavors. So our whole thing is as eating things as real as close to the source as possible. If you're a vegetarian, we eat plants and animals. Pretty simple diet. I only eat till I'm full. I try not to overeat. I obviously look out for added sugar. But certainly Laird Superfood is just what we say with that is, if you're already drinking coffee, we've got opportunities. We put adaptogens. We put things that are supportive.
As long as you're drinking it.
Right. Because people are already overloaded. I don't want to give you more things to do.
Like another supplement.
Right. I want to say like, if you're doing that, would that be better? If you are, we've got hydrate products. We have all kinds of things. So the brand is really came out of habits that we were doing and turned into this.
Okay. That's great. It's been such a success. I see. So.
Yeah, so you have 10 failures before you get the one success.
I know. Everyone's like, there's no overnight success. So many
I can show them the graveyard if they want.
I know, right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh my God. I'm like, you guys, there's so many failures. But that's how we learn. You got to keep going. It's how fast you get back up.
One, it's also, it's part of it. It's the 21 door theory, right? You're going to knock on 20 doors and then it will be the 21st. So they're not even failures. They just are part of that process. They get you to wherever. And good luck. Good fortune.
That's the thing about I think of with the wisdom of getting older. When I get into this place of, is it going to work or not? I'm like, okay, I can look back and look at all the experience and being like, things have always worked out. It wasn't easy along the way. There were things that were failures, but they always ended up, it worked out.
It's going to work out.
I try to tell younger people, I'm like, no, it's going to be fine. You're in this phase. You can't just say that to people.
No.
But there's a certain trusting in the process that to get anything that you want and that you really believe in, it's going to be a little rough along the way.
It is. It's going to happen the way it's meant to happen. Yeah. And so what are the lessons? Great. Pocket them. Let's roll.
Yeah. One more thing about gut health. What's your take on that? I've been going deeper.
It's everything.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It impacts your sexual health, your mental health, your
big time.
So is it just, how do you deal with gut health? Is it you just part of your overall wellness?
So
or do you do anything?
30, and people go, oh, that sounds like so many. It does. But let's get excited. The fact that, beans count, nuts count, spices and herbs count, but every week get as many colorful forms of fiber and a variety of fiber that you can, to support your gut health. And people don't give it enough credit. And then they go, oh, good bacteria, bad. It's so confusing. It is. Don't take it on too much. Fermented foods, kimchi, sauerkrauts. There's so many good things. Things like medicines and Advils and Tylenols and alcohol, they're tough on your gut. And nobody likes to hear that. And I think we don't think about it. They can perforate the gut lining. But the other good thing about the gut is within 24 hours, it starts to heal. So we can really make progress quickly. So I don't like people to think, well, it's not too late. It's never too late. And, managing stress and sleep is so imperative.
I take a probiotic, Just Thrive probiotic. I love them. They have a gummy. I love a supplement as a gummy. They have this special strands that I've studied that's they weed out the bad, bring in the good bacteria, all the things. But I focused on it now and I think more about what I'm putting in my body because of what I've learned about the gut. Okay. How do you approach body image and peer pressure around sex with your three girls?
Yeah.
How do you talk to them about that? Body image or peer pressure or sex? And does it come up? Because also, side note, there's all these studies now that kids aren't having sex.
I know. It's weird.
So I know.
You see in Japan, 30% of people under 30 are virgins.
They're virgins. In China, everywhere.
They got to be having sex.
I know. No one's having sex.
So
what about with you?
We try not to put voodoo around sex in our house.
Good.
Okay. I'm not my daughters. I mean, they're getting older now, so it's different. But I never am their friend. I try to be their mom and be a person that they kind of rely on. Somebody told me once they want you to be they want you to be in charge. They don't want to be in control, right? So I try to be a good example. I think Laird and I display a healthy amount of affection, and certainly we've had open dialogue. My youngest daughter is certainly the most conservative.
Okay.
But she's confident, but just I can tell she's a little more conservative. So I have conversation. I always say the car ride.
That's
listen
the
in the
best
car
time.
ride,
Yep.
and they'll talk to you. And what I do is I'll say, can I ask a question? I'll ask, can I say something? And I just will drop off one thing.
I love, yeah.
And one kid wants to engage more, and there's a back and forth. And one kid is a little more timid or uptight. So you just go, just food for thought, and you put it out there. And then I back off. But really modeling and having
the conversations with them, right?
And a lot of listening.
What about it is a lot of listening and asking questions and bringing it up again and realizing that it's not a one-time conversation, just knowing that you're there for them.
And empowering them to do things because that is their desire, not because they have pressure or they're trying to please somebody.
Which is,
at their young age.
This is what I like. I'm like, well, they're not having sex. I've been doing a lot of deep dive and trying to figure that out, but it's better than the alternative of just having sex to please somebody.
Right. So it's like, hey, if you do decide, like you feel like it's a healthy age, and everybody thinks that's different. Every person's different. But because the other thing is I don't want them to almost go so long that it becomes like a weird thing.
Right.
So it's like, hey, whatever age that it's becoming, because that's what you desire, you feel cherished and respected, and you'd like to explore that next step with somebody, and you're interested. Right. Those are the types of things.
Now, what about, that makes sense. Well, how does mental health tie in this? Because it's also been so brutal since the pandemic and all this talk about mental health. How is that going with your girls? Is it something that you also talk to them about?
Yes.
Like,
well, they're also different. So my oldest daughter actually had her hardest time way later.
Okay.
And that's interesting when you have a young adult going through a hard time.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other set of rules of you have to ask to assist. Where when they're younger, you can plow in there because you're a parent.
Yeah.
My middle went through very heavy times at about 13.
Okay.
And it was sort of like really having to get other tools, me as a parent, not just her. One thing I heard is like, oh, you want to go to a therapist and drop your kid off and go, hey, fix them. Yeah, no. Everybody's got to get fixed.
Yeah, I love that you said that. You can't.
Everybody has to get fixed. So that's where I got introduced to Katie. And then my youngest, she doesn't have sort of some of the heavier, darker stuff that my older two navigated, but she's more vulnerable to the phone.
Okay. Social media.
She's super social. She's self-regulated. You know, she'll say things like, I need to change my sleep patterns. She'll self-regulate. So I see she's dealing with it, but I do see she's more susceptible to how she feels about the way she appears based on the phone. So we just keep a dialogue going.
That's great. It's a lot to keep going.
And it's also learning their languages.
Right. Because it's different with each kid.
They have different languages. And some it's like,
what's
you have
the
to
latest
lean back.
thing you learned? Like what, language-wise?
It's so hard with the phone because it's hard to understand everything that she's seeing.
Right. Oh, right. That language of just like,
so I think it's
TikTok or whatever's coming up for her.
So it's about getting her to remind her to focus on the things that are good and positive in her life and about her look and how she looks, and to be grateful for, and then to utilize the tools of, hey, listen, the reason I'm jamming on about you getting to bed and turning off the thing is I do think it does rattle you. And she's reasonable. And she'll say, no, yeah, okay. So, and then it's saying, I'm here, but then it's watching her put tools in place. And she does. But listen, listen, let me tell you.
It's not easy.
You go over here, you should have gone there. Oops, sorry. You go there, you should have gone there. So I want to say one thing about parenting is you never lands on the bullseye. No. The job is showing up and knowing you're never going to get it right and having peace with that and being the best possible example that you can be and loving them for who they are, not who you think that you hope they should be or whatever. Because that is, nobody ever talks about parental disappointment. They hand you a baby.
Wow.
The future is open to every possibility. And you realize that, no, actually, this is a person who has certain likes, certain traits. They're going to be who they are. It might be really different than what you would hope for them. And you feel a moment of like, oh, I didn't know it was going to go like that. Yeah. And then you go, great.
Accepting them for who they are. It's all beautiful, all meant to be.
Yeah, but you've got to grow up as a parent. And it's impossible. And it's fantastic.
It's an impossible job, right?
It's
impossible job. So much love and impossible.
And one last thing I would say, because I try not to give parental advice, if your kids are getting older and they're teenagers, actually pray and encourage that everything weird that they do while they're living with you.
Okay. Right.
Because you're there.
Yeah.
You don't want to send them off to college, never having dipped their toe into anything,
right.
because who's looking out for them? So somehow find the balance between age-appropriate freedom so that you see how they manage freedom on their own, so you're right there.
That's really healthy. I know. Just like explore here. We're safe.
And I'm not saying, hey, I'm buying you the stuff.
Right.
And like have your friends over and I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying an appropriate amount of freedom. Yeah. So you see what they do. What are their choices?
Yeah.
I don't track my children on their phone.
You don't? Yeah.
No, because if they lie, I'm like, listen, if you choose to lie, I will find out eventually.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to some country and you want me to, that's fine. But my point is like, I'm not going to be up your colon because I'm not going to live there.
Right.
So what are you going to choose for yourself?
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, that's really, it's like giving them the tools to make agency
over themselves,
over their own choices. I think that's better than like I'm being tracked, because at the first was that is that the kids don't feel like they can go out and have an adventure. They can't go out and live their own life. They need to play. They need to they need it. They require it.
And the temptation is so wild to just be on them because you can. Fight it if you can.
I love that you don't do that. I think that's great. I mean, my parents they didn't know where the hell I was. I couldn't find, you know what I'm saying?
No, of course.
I think in a way.
But be if you might be up waiting.
Yeah.
And you might be like, take a look at them when they get home. And that's okay too. Right. That is part of parenting. But I have found that I want to know, who are you left up to yourself?
Yeah. I love it. I think that's great. That's the independence that we want to bring back to kids today.
Yeah, they need it.
Okay, these are our listener questions. We got so many, so I'm going to ask you rapid fire, like just answer what comes to mind. No, because it's going to be kind of a fun ending segment, I think, to be like, okay, Gabby, like, I'm going to go these in order. What's the single most important exercise you can't live without? You can't do without. If there was one thing.
Single as a, I mean, listen, any form of squatting is going to be great. But also we do need to hang a little bit here and there because you don't want to lose total grip strength. So you want to be able to squat. So the idea of like when you're 80, you get up and down from a chair independently and you don't want to lose grip strength.
Okay. Love it. What this is going to be hard to answer quickly, but what did it feel like to be on display as an athlete to millions?
You know, I think you are thinking about the ball and your opponents more than millions. I mean, pressure is an interesting thing when you play sports, but you know, it's sort of like you learn it in stages. And so really you are focused on the task at hand. The only other thing I would say about that, though, is using the energy of the people around you, hopefully if they're for you, for your to your advantage. And conversely, I know athletes who do this very well, where if they go into an arena, I have a friend who played in the NBA and he used to talk about like was wildly hated in certain arenas. And he said he would just take that energy and, you know, and use it as fuel.
Success. Yeah. Okay. How do you get confident in your own skin, and how were you able to transfer that to the bedroom? Yeah.
Well, okay. So I was 6'3" at 15 and I had to make a decision.
Interesting. Yeah.
Are you going to be okay with who you are? Or are you going to just be tortured that you're not a size 4? So I think I learned that lesson. I'm not a person who likes to bang their head on the wall too long. And then what I've learned about confidence in the bedroom is, somebody said to me years ago, and this is saying if you're in a relationship with a man, I don't know that it would be even different with a female. Men only see what you project.
They're not going beneath the surface thing. Did she really mean this? Did she not?
Well, not only that, is she, what size is she? Is Gabby a little loose in the, you know, is that cellulite? I think when we're in a relationship with a person and you're in the bedroom, I think a willingness to be there and, you know, that they look and they think, oh, they're excited to be here and be with me and the passion. I think that is what, we're the only ones that see these, you know, imperfections that we all have. Yeah. We're the ones. Our partner loves us. And if we're in the bedroom, and Laird and I joke too, he's like, we joke like that's what light switches are for, but maybe that's for when you're like 75.
No, but they're not going like, oh, what's that mark on your thing? Or your like left.
Maybe we should get some entomology, sweetie. It's like, come on.
They're not.
So I think we are the only ones who torture ourselves.
True. Yeah. They're with you naked. Like they're happy.
They love you.
They
want to be there. And, you know, I do it to a degree, but if I could encourage people to just know that you are beautiful. And we have this definition of beautiful. no, being with somebody, you're there, there's love, there's intimacy. This is such a beautiful thing. And so to experience that in its wholeness and not to be like, oh, my this, my that.
Right.
It's like, you know.
We make sex so complicated. We make sex so hard when really at the end of the day, it's like this beautiful thing. You're with someone, you're both naked,
so
get out of your
nice.
head into your body. I
Go
know,
under the
it's so
covers
nice.
if you really need to and just feel it then. Just experience
exactly.
it.
It's a
feel
total
it.
sensory experience. I love it. I think we already answered this, but maybe you'll say something else this time. Who knows? Easiest way to keep it interesting after all these years.
Oh, hell, I don't know. I'm so like boring that way.
Well, you have it scheduled, so.
I think it's willingness. Like, I want you. I would like to be with you. That feels good. You know, like you feel good. I don't have a ton of tricks. And by the way, I have other friends that they do, you know, they have games and toys and it's great and it works for them. I'm pretty much like, again, I've kept it simple enough that the experience of it is nice. Yeah.
Well, then the next question, do you own any sex toys? Do you think it's important for women to own sex toys?
Somebody gave me one of those when we were in Austin, Alifair. Remember the little, it looks like a flower.
Okay.
It's a pretty little.
It was probably like the +1, the rose toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
It's kind of fun, right?
It's quite good.
Yeah, it's fun.
To the point.
It gets right to the point.
Right to the point.
It's kind of fun. It's
I'm
like
a to the point kind of girl.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It makes things efficient. It's efficiency.
Look at it. Is that sad?
No.
I'm like, let's go to it.
I'm a huge fan of sex toys. You kidding? It's get it done. Sometimes it takes so long. You want to
like also like take the edge off.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what are we talking about?
No, it's true. Like I'm telling you, it's like the biggest stress reliever.
I know.
Help with focus, concentration, help you fall
chocolate,
asleep.
just, take care of it.
Exactly.
It's better.
Just do
Don't
it.
eat the
Okay,
sugar.
good. I'm a fan.
Okay.
Fan of sex toys. Okay. Well, what's your least favorite thing about sex? And then they wrote, seriously. So they want
my least?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I pin anything least around.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
The time.
Yeah, but even that, it's like, what other thing in that moment could I be doing better than my time than being with my partner? Yeah. So I have not attached anything. It's like saying the least thing that's bad about a sunset. It's like, you know what? Take it in.
Yeah. We, without much intellectual compatibility, can a new relationship thrive? This was just a joke.
Ooh, not in the long.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if it's like boom, bang. I mean, listen, we all have had one of those when we were younger. It's like, shh, just.
I know. They're so pretty to look at.
Look good. Yeah. Right? No. Yeah. That's only going to be.
It gets old.
Quick.
Real quick.
Super quick.
Especially for someone like my brain's like,
no.
Where's this going? Okay. How often do you masturbate?
I'd say maybe 2 times a month.
Great.
Yeah, nothing. I mean,
okay.
I have a pretty healthy.
Okay, you're already like, I don't know how you'd have time for that, but
no, but sometimes like
your own, because it's solo sex. Like
sometimes if you're not getting maybe that 1 week that you weren't having an orgasm or
just good for your own. I believe it's important just to have that relationship with our body.
I think so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Work it in. Okay.
Well, and don't be scared.
Yes. And that's how we learn about our bodies.
Yeah.
That's how we learn what feels good. A little time between you and you. All right. Where can people find you? Listen to all the fun things you're doing, the podcast and all things.
Thank you.
Really, you're so wise. I love listening to you. I really got on the Gabby train. I was listening to all your things. I'm just such a fan of all you've done, how you continue to evolve and do it so openly and share wherever you are in your life. It feels like you're always sharing what you're going through in a very real way. And I admire that.
Well, I think we're all going through something really similar. So let's not be afraid of it.
Exactly.
The Gabby Reece Show and everything is Gabby Reece. And if people want to try Laird Superfood, it's at lairdsuperfood.com.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to Sex with Emily. And if you love the show, please like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, share this with a friend or a partner. It might just spark something. It usually does. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It's all at Sex with Emily. Oh, and I've been told I give really good email. So sign up at sexwithemily.com for free guides and articles and more ways to prioritize your pleasure.